was just for you guys, obviously. But yeah, so okay, back to embracing emotions. So this whole month, literally this whole month is about embracing your emotions, highs and lows, and being okay with it. Chelsea, if you're like, I just really want to be in a relationship, and you feel into that, like, that's okay. And I want you to like feel it as deeply as possible, because when you do that, you're releasing. And another thing this week is when waning moon is waning moon. I have to look it up. Anyway, but that is for releasing energy. So we're releasing this week. We're releasing last week. Mine is always around freaking food all the time. And I think it's the only thing that's keeping me here, because I have like healed through everything. And what I mean here, I mean in this density. So like it's something for me to mindfully work on in this dimension right here. So like I'll get emotional in certain aspects and have to connect with that, whatever. That's my own thing. But what I'm saying is, like, if you feel emotional about something, it needs to come up. Allow yourself to be emotional. Do not be the emotion, but like observe the emotion. So when that emotion comes up, if you can connect with your breath, like these tools we have, but still allow the emotion to come up and you feel into it without fear, that is you observing the emotion instead of becoming the emotion and judging yourself for crying so much, or, you know, whatever it is. But when you can observe it, you actually release it much easier and let it go much quicker. Or if you react to something, if you're triggered by something and you don't pause first to breathe through that emotion and you react, just observe it and see, you know, where it is you're reacting from. Why is it, what it, you know, we've talked about this before, like what's causing that. But if you can breathe into it first and then process it and really like think about the situation and say like, okay, why was I triggered around this? Then the next time that situation comes up, you can actually shift your perspective around it and learn how to respond better to it next time and actually get somewhere with it. I don't know what Jade's doing, but she's driving me nuts. She's all over the place. So tonight we're going to do a meditation around creating. I'm really excited for this one. I did it this morning by myself, and I really feel like it connected deeply with how we are going to transform this society. Oh, that's what I was getting back to. So before I start this, so we're in Cancer season for the next month. So the emotions are really going to come up strong, up, down, joy. Feel into that joy when you're feeling it. Feel in the moment of gratitude, whatever it is. But then we have a full solar eclipse coming up. So that's really, that solar eclipse is going to basically open a portal, and it's going to be pretty much like extra for us and illuminate pretty strongly where we need to heal in those areas. So this next month is the most sensitive time of the year, the most sensitive time. So instead of judging your emotions, trying to avoid them, try to distract yourself from them, I want you to really take the time to be in stillness. I created a ritual for me in the morning where I just been working out when I feel guided to work out, and then afterwards just sitting there in stillness, breathing into my breath for like 5 minutes and just saying, okay, allow myself to be open, and whatever's meant to come to me, come to me. That's it. And leave it at that. Feel into my body if I feel guided to, whatever it is. But sitting in this stillness is really going to help you connect, and it's actually going to bring any of that anxiety that's coming up back to anchoredness. You're going to anchor yourself into this earth instead of being up all in your head and creating all these stories. You're going to actually anchor yourself here. You're going to feel more grounded. And you won't be all over the place, and you'll be able to observe your emotions. So I think if you guys can really set that in a routine at some point for yourself to just, maybe it's 5 minutes, but to really tune everything off, remove any distractions, and just allow yourself to breathe and really feel into the stillness, I think it would actually transform you a lot during this season. So anyway, speaking to that, we'll start the meditation now. And even coming on here more consistently, and you guys have been great with this, showing up for yourselves. So just being more consistent with you is going to help you stay balanced. It's going to keep you from running away with the thoughts, with everything going on in this world and like, you know, whatever's happening. It's going to help you stay here right now and know that you are here for something bigger than what's going on. There's something bigger for all of us, that what's going on. We are doing something very incredible, and we just need to keep connecting with that and keep speaking our truth and keep speaking to connect with love and how it's working for you and what it's doing for you, and learning how to be consistent with it and speaking all of that, because people need to hear this right now, because there's a lot of people right now that don't even have this. And that's got to be scary to live that way, to not really be sure where to go. So the more we express what we're doing, that's going to help them and plant seeds in their mind. So that's pretty much all I want to say. And now we're going to meditate. And if you guys can hear, there's a lot of, I think there's frogs and crickets and stuff. So that's going to be fun. All right, Jane, I'm about to start the meditation. Would you like to lay down next to me? I need you to relax.
All right.
Because we're going to have a lot of energy moving around with you, just twirling. All right. Can you lay down with that crystal? You want to hold the crystal and lay down? Yeah. Pick one. Okay, so get yourselves comfortable. Jade wants to hold a crystal. Lay down and listen to Mama, okay? I'm going to do like a story now, okay? You want this? Lay in here?
No.
Okay. All right. Relax and close your eyes. Relax your body. Take a deep breath through your nose and exhale. I'm going to put you guys on mute. Relax your jaw and continue the deep breathing in and out through your nose. Relax your mind and just let go. Now let your mind become aware of your feet. Visualize a red light flowing up from the bottom of your feet and swirling around the top of your feet. And let your feet just fall where they naturally want to. Now visualize that red light swirling up around your ankles and moving into your calves and shins. Let those muscles relax and just let go. Now visualize that red light swirling up around your kneecaps and into the back of your knees. And visualize that red light flowing over the top of your thighs and oozing into the back of your thighs. And let those muscles relax. Now visualize that red light flowing into your buttocks and swirling around your groin. And just let your buttocks sink beneath you. Now visualize that red light swirling around your hips and turning into an orange light. And visualize your hip joints being encased in a warm orange light. Now visualize that orange light swirling around your torso and moving up into your belly button. And let your mind become aware of your abdominal area. Visualize a ball of yellow light filling your abdominal area. And with each breath you take, that ball of yellow light expands. Now let your mind become aware of your waist. Visualize that yellow light swirling up around your waist and moving into your chest. And visualize your lungs being filled with a green light. And with each breath you take, your lungs are filled with that green swirling light. Now let your mind become aware of your hands. Visualize a golden light filling each finger, filling the palm of each hand. Visualize that light swirling up around your wrists and on up your forearms. Visualize that light moving into your elbows and into your upper arms and shoulders. And let your shoulder blades relax and sink down with ease. Now let your mind become aware of your back. Visualize that light moving up from your tailbone and into each vertebrae and out of the back of your neck. Now let your mind become aware of your neck and throat. Open your lips slightly and then close them. Allow your tongue to drop into a relaxed position. Swallow gently, and as you feel your throat open, visualize a blue light going down your throat and swirling around your neck. Now let your mind become aware of your head and face. Let your ears relax. Let your eyes relax. Allow that little space between your eyebrows to relax. And visualize an indigo light filling that space between your eyebrows. And with each breath you take, visualize that indigo light expand. Now let your mind become aware of the top of your head. Visualize a purple light flowing down the top of your head and slowly flowing down the rest of your body. And just let go. And now that you're completely relaxed, I invite you to join me on a journey. I want you to imagine the earth already healed. What feelings does that bring up? When you see the earth already healed, everyone is in peace. The earth is being loved and taken care of. We are thriving in our society. We are unified as one, enjoying holidays, enjoying warm summer days, enjoying the seasons with appreciation, and really feeling and appreciating the earth as she is. I want you to visualize yourself somewhere where you feel this earth needs healing. And I want you to visualize it as already healed. What would you create for this healing? What is happening around you? Are there people around you? Take note of your surroundings and the intricate details of the transformed process. I want you to sit here for a moment and just visualize this and allow yourself to create the story that you want to see transform and manifest. Just a small piece of what could be. As you're creating this story, I want you to take note how your body feels when you are creating this. Do you feel excitement? Does your body feel relaxed? Does it raise your vibrations? What does this do for you? Do you feel motivated? We have the capability to bring these things into our world, but we need to continue to focus on where we're going. We focus on where we're headed by being in the now and creating that love in our own world. We can create it as a collective. As like it's a goal you're trying to reach. Stay focused without worrying what could go wrong or worrying about how it could go or how you're going to do it. Relax into that and have faith in the unknown. Allow yourself to be in the stillness and let your mind run wild in creativity and exciting dreams. And anytime you feel yourself falling back into the fear or the anxiety or the pain or the suffering, just take the time to bring yourself back to the creative being you are. Our guides want us to know that they are here guiding us, and we have chosen the path of walking with humans to help heal their world, help heal our world, and we are strong enough to do it. We are leading the way. We are creating the way. So don't listen or follow anybody in the 3D society unless it feels right in some way. Everyone is just lost and confused and trying to do what's right. They feel like control is the only way because it's the only thing that makes them feel safe. Relax into that and connect with your guides and the universe and God, all that is. When you find the connection, you could see how strong you are to create the way for the earth to heal. We are the creators. There's nothing to follow. What we've been doing for centuries is not working for us anymore. So we need to be the ones to lead the way. Anytime you see yourself fall back into that pattern, remember, you're going to do it your way. You could do it. Be confident in yourself and find that balance again. And allow yourself to feel. You're being led by your feelings. You're being led by your heart. So allow yourself to open up and receive and give without worrying about consequences, without worrying about being judged, without worrying about whether you're doing it right or wrong. There is no right or wrong. There's only what's right for you and what's right for someone else. And only they can tell you what's right for them. We are all having a collective experience that is separated in our own experience. This separate but oneness is going to bring us together. So be confident in who you are and know that you know better than anyone. You know better than anyone for yourself, no matter what it is. This is vibrational. We are not living by the laws anymore. We are just respecting them and knowing that the universe has this divine plan and everything we're experiencing is the universe. So have faith and trust in what's happening. Relax into it, even if it looks scary. You are a master creator. You are the master creator of your world, and nobody else can do it for you. So keep connecting with that creativeness that you want to create in your life. Whether it's a family, whether it's a career, only you can do it, and you just need to have the courage to do it. Whether it's giving back, just give love in all the ways that feels right and allow yourself to receive that same love back from yourself, from the universe, and from everything the universe is bringing to you. Whether it's a person, whether it's money, whether it's an object, whether it's an emotion, whether it's a flower or an animal. Allow the universe to show up for you in the expression that it needs to help guide you along your path and to help you connect more with unconditional love. This is the game of life, and we can master this. We are leading the way. Be strong enough to connect with your heart and not worry about what anybody else says around you. They need more support from the fear of nothing solid to stand on. Just show them that it's going to be okay, that we're all going to be okay. And that's what's going to help heal this collective experience. When we all feel that peace in our hearts, we don't need anything outside of us. We don't even need a house. But if the universe gives it to us, remember we created that. But know that if the universe takes it away from us, we are still safe. Allow yourself to connect and trust God with all of your heart. Now I want you to take 3 deep, relaxing breaths. Feel it move through your body as you release what no longer serves you. And as you breathe in new life and energy. When you're ready, you could bring yourself back to conscious awareness. Wiggle your toes, move your ankles, stretch if you want to. Allow yourself to be relaxed, but awake and alert. Oh, Jade fell asleep. I put my girl to sleep. Oh man. Okay, so I was super connected during that. And I channeled all of that through me. There was one point when I was talking about us leading the way. Holy shit, when I was talking about that, us leading away and being the master creators and we're creating our new world, my whole body was lit up with chills, like hardcore. So that was, and I was not planning on saying anything like that tonight. That just came right through me just now. Ow, my foot to sleep. So I'm curious how you guys connected with that meditation. I'm curious if you saw anything in our world that you saw healed and something that you really have passion around, or not even passion, just something in our world that has been recreated into something more positive. And I'll share my story too, because I saw something too. It was really cool.
I was really relaxed. It was really nice.
That's awesome. Have you meditated at all recently or no?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the last time I meditated was with you, so.
Okay.
That's a big no.
Yeah, that's awesome.
No, but I was really relaxed. I was able to focus really good, which is nice. Like my mind went elsewhere like a couple times, but it was mostly like focus on meditation, which is nice because it is really hard for me to focus during meditation.
That's good. You probably just needed that break and now bring yourself back to it and use what you learned.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Were you able to visualize anything?
I visualized obviously like obviously because I've been working on my podcast all night. So
Yeah.
like all like mental illness and like the stigma and stuff like that, like people judging other people and stuff like that. So I saw like healing around that.
Oh, cool. Okay. That's so cool. I love that. Did you see people and like just them being healed? Like, how did you see it? I'm just curious how
It was more of like a feeling within me, if that makes sense. So it was like more of, I didn't like see anything, but it was like in the meditation I felt accomplished because people were releasing the stigma and people were like feeling more okay about their mental illness.
accepting themselves.
Yeah. It was more of like a feeling within me versus like seeing people or anything like that.
And do you feel
It's
like
kinda cool.
at the same time you were accepting yourself too?
I didn't know. I guess I didn't really feel it then, but no, it was more of an accomplished feeling, like I was like helping the world.
Cool.
Kind of thing.
Awesome. I love that. Does anybody else see anything or feel anything? Or
I feel like I was definitely more so connected to what you're channeling at the end. Like I was like, wow, like Jacqueline's like so right.
I'm glad I recorded this because I don't even think I could go back right now and like 100%. Okay, cool. Yeah, I was getting a lot of chills during that. I feel like the purpose of tonight was to reset our mindset back to our focus kind of thing and like what we really need right now because there's a lot of shit going on around us. And just bring ourselves back to now. Camden, did you connect with the light pretty well? I was curious about that too.
Oh my God. And I meant to mention that because so I haven't been on in a while, so I don't know how long you've been doing like the different colored lights, but you said red at first. And I was like, I can visualize this light so much better than the golden light. I don't know why, because it was weird too, because as soon as you changed to orange and yellow, I didn't visualize it as well. But when you changed over to green and then blue and indigo, like I was able to see it better. I don't know why. Maybe I'm just not attracted to orange or yellow, but it was really weird. Like I was able to like see it more.
Awesome.
I don't know. I meant to mention that. That was funny.
Yeah, that was in the back of my head actually as you were talking. Yeah, I started doing that. I want to say probably like right after you stop, maybe like a little bit after. And I've been doing it here and then my group meditations at the shop, and everyone connects with that so much better than the other one. So that's
yeah, it was crazy because I think like the color change, it makes me like able to visualize the different like the colors like linger in the body parts too, if that makes sense.
That's awesome.
Like once you change to orange, I can still see the red like in my legs.
That's awesome. See,
that makes me focus more on seeing it.
Right. That totally makes sense. And those are the chakra colors. So it's also going to help you connect with those chakras too as you do that, because it's going to integrate more into you. So then when I talk about the colors, what's going to happen is you're naturally going to think, so either I talk about the chakra or I talk about the colors, and you'll naturally start to just automatically feel into that spot, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So that's like my point of doing it, and it'll happen on its own. That's awesome. I'm so happy to hear that. Cool. Does anybody else have anything to say? No. Chelsea, anything? So I can see you.
I was just like thinking about the food industry and like replacing all the toxic foods with like more like holistic natural foods, but I don't know, I was kind of disconnected today. I wasn't really
Okay. But that's good you were thinking about that. And were you able to see anything, or was it more just a thought process of it?
It was more just thought process.
Okay. That's good though. At least something was coming to you. Were you able to connect with the light part or any of the words I was saying at all?
I for some reason am better when I visualize like a white light. Okay. But it's like the blue and the green light in the throat area for me is big. I don't know, like it's like a cooling sensation.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's cool. What about the words at the end that I said? Did you feel connected with those at all? Did that help you relax?
Not really, but my attitude has been like bad in like every area of my life. Like I've been like unmotivated and like really like not into anything lately. Like I've almost been like a little bit depressed. So I don't think it has anything to do with tonight's meditation. I think it's just me.
Okay, so my question is, how long do you feel like this has been going on?
For like the last few weeks.
Okay, so we've been in a releasing period for the last few weeks. So all you're doing is releasing that to help you move forward. So just trust this process that you're going through, okay? Don't judge it.
Yeah.
Okay, so same with me. I'll tell you right now, I have no order with food at all. I will just try to like at times integrate the things that I know are good for me, but then allow myself to indulge because I'm like, I'm trying, but I'm not going to like force myself. I'm just going to flow with it and trust that this is a release for me that I need to move forward without trying to like stay so focused on being in the weight I want or like stay focused on, feeling good. Sometimes we have to feel both aspects. We have to feel that dark and light. So just trust in that darkness that comes up. Okay. And then just as best you can, try to come back to your tools. So like for me, even though I'm going through this releasing, like I said, I still am showing up and doing something in the morning for myself. Like it doesn't have to be the morning, but if you could find a time like tonight, perfect. You know what I mean? Still do that, even though you're going through this period as best you can, and don't judge this period. We have to go through this to be able to feel that light energy because we're like vessels releasing all bullshit, basically. Okay, so I'm actually not surprised that you're going through that because I'm going through similar things too. Like sometimes, I mean, I've done a lot of evolving, but my mind will sometimes go in areas and I'm like, well, this is not serving me. Whatever I do, like my mind's like, I'll pay attention to if it's serving me or not. And then if it's not, I just come back to something that'll just keep me either like in creative energy, like go out to the garden to go check on something and not worry about whatever it was. Like try to shift your attitude in small ways first before trying to do it all at once. Does that help you?
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome. All right, Kate or Jess, anything? Or should I could share mine?
I'm here, but I'm still trying to get Nicholas asleep, so I wasn't able to do meditation, but I am listening to you guys.
Okay, no worries. Kate.
Like at the end, I just like when we stop visualizing things, I guess my mind just floats away.
Oh,
but
really?
all I want to do is like listen to you, but I'm just like, oh, I gotta do this weekend. I gotta do that. It's like crap.
Were you able to visualize anything?
Yeah. Yeah, it was like I don't know how I wound up in a valley at first, but I did.
Okay.
When you first started it. But it was like really peaceful, so that was kind of cool. But then once we like started like what we were focusing on, of course it brought up like what we were talking about before, the detention centers or whatever. And it was just like a more peaceful way of welcoming people into our country and helping them rather than hurting them.
I'm getting chills. That's awesome.
So that was really what it was. Just trying to help people instead of hurting them and making their situation worse.
Yeah. Do you know I'm getting so many chills right now? Because that is your connect with those things you're passionate about and switch it into a positive and just visualize that and keep doing that. And that's going to help you actually shift your energy. And then you don't even realize how much you're actually creating that. That's why I'm saying, like, during the words, I was saying we are master creators. We are creating through our minds. And I'm not just saying that to be like a bullshitter or like to make ourselves feel better in any way. No, we are actually creating through our minds. Like, Camden, that started in your mind first, correct? And then it came out into your physical world. That's how we create. We start in our minds. And the craziest part, it's not just one person thinking of things, it's a collective experience. So there's going to be other people thinking about those things you are too, which is making it even stronger. But we're the few and far between right now. But as a collective, you'll see groups of people when they show up to like create something special, like that's making a huge change. No matter, even if there's a lot of shit going on that needs to be shown so we can heal that. And it's already healed within our minds, but it's just not shown up physical yet. That's how I want to put it. So I'll share what I saw. So I was actually at the doctor's office, so related to the vaccinations I've been like paying attention to. And the way I saw it was, there was a kid sitting on the table talking to the doctor, and I just saw like herbs, jars of herbs lining on the walls, and the doctor was speaking, and I was just listening to her, and she was so informative. She was like, okay, I'm going to tell you the risks of, disease, or like she was even talking about vaccination. So she was like saying how vitamins do certain things for your body. It was like a very knowledgeable doctor, like talking about how your body works and what certain things do to your body, and it's your choice what feels right for you. Do you whether it was a vaccination, I didn't know exactly how to pinpoint that, but I know she was talking about vitamins, and she had like a shot, like, this is what this is going to do for you. If you want to use this because it'll make you feel safer, you can, but this is what actually, like, take this with it, like that kind of thing. Was the vibe I was getting, and her trying to actually make you feel comfortable and understand what was going on, rather than just handing you a pamphlet and giving you a vaccine and be like, okay, well, you should expect this, this, and this, rather than saying what it's doing to your body and what's it for. And I really felt like a balance within Western medicine and Eastern medicine. That's like what I was picturing. And it was pretty cool. It was like just and then like I said, to like feel into your body, like my body was just like relaxed. It felt right. And I felt like almost like excited about the fact that this could actually happen because it would be so awesome. And I think people don't know enough that's why there's so much fear, because they're not being educated. Like when we like go to the doctor, we have cancer, like there's not enough education around it. It's just like, what are we going to do to you? And this is gonna, like, no, we have to find what actually our body is doing and trust it. So anyway, that's what I was seeing. And it's pretty sweet. All right, well, I recorded this, so I wish I recorded the beginning, but I didn't. But the most important part, I feel like, is in the middle. So, okay. I'm going to pull some cards now. The best part, right? All right. So, Kate, I'll start with you. Vulnerability. Meadow. How freaking weird is that?
I was just about to say that. I was like, oh, that's weird. That's literally like what I was visualizing. Like the mountains and me surrounded by flowers.
That's awesome. Wow. I love that. I love that. Okay. Cool. So that's a sign right there that you were connected, and this card is for you. So the meadow in this card invites us to, with its beauty and openness. The flowers have arranged themselves in a poetic design orchestrated by nature, and the lush rolling fields urge us to relax and stay for a while. Yet for some, the idea of being in such an open space is terrifying, and in an expansive meadow like this, we may feel exposed and defenseless, lacking the perceived safety of an enclosed area. For others, walking through a meadow can be an exquisitely satisfying experience. We can feel comfortable in the openness and visibility, enjoying the 360-degree view with nothing but the sky above. Yes, we may still feel vulnerable, but with a twist. This is vulnerability built on the foundation of trust rather than fear. The capacity to trust our own instincts to tell us if there are any potential threats we must respond to. By relying on this instinctual knowing, we can relax and enjoy the beauty that surrounds us. You are in a place now where you can take risks with your feelings, and even more important, take risks with the truth of who you are, the truth you know in your heart and soul. You no longer need to be subjected to your conditioned fears of letting others know who you really are. Yes, others may judge, evaluate, criticize, and perhaps even put you down. These are very real possibilities, yet by trusting that you have the strength to deal with these reactions, rather than responding adaptively and always playing it safe, you can now more confidently allow yourself to be vulnerable. Always holding back from expressing your truth can create an illusion of safety. But armed with your trust and your faith, you can choose to be vulnerable and share your authentic self with the world. I really like that card. A lot.
I'm like trying to think like how it like I guess relates to me in a sense.
I feel
like what it would be talking, like what it's aiming towards.
Okay, well, for example, these detention centers bring up feelings. Posting that and really talking and being vulnerable in your expression without worrying about how people are going to come back at you. This is just an example. I don't know if this is where it connects, but like sometimes we hold ourselves back with fear of being judged. But really that judgment is coming from themselves out of fear. But if we can show them whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like, show them that there's another way and that you're confident within yourself enough that you just feel the need to express this and you're okay with it triggering them, honestly, because that's what we need to do. We need to trigger others, because when we trigger others, it activates something within them to heal and plants those seeds. So that's an example of being vulnerable in your expression. I don't know if there's like a personal relationship that maybe you need to feel more vulnerable, or just being authentically who you are in every aspect. If someone says something about you and you just take it rather than just being like, no, that's not me. Like I've gone through that before. I mean, I don't know. I would just be open to in the ways that shows up, where you feel like you're not living in your true self in some way.
Okay.
Just be mindful of it. Just allow that to wander into your experience and just keep yourself open. Okay.
That makes more sense.
Okay. I just needed to give an example and then do that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, my turn. Ceremony, invocation. This is interesting because I feel like the past 2 days I really connected with that. So, but let's see. Okay. It is in a sacred ceremony that we have one of the greatest opportunities to experience communion with Source, one where the perceived dualities of both heaven and earth merge into an experience of the divine. Through the use of sacred pieces that have become imbued with spiritual significance, we bring forth ceremony catalyzed by clear intention and preparation. Sacred ceremony is prayer in action. In this image, a woman kneels before an altar where a number of crystals are placed. I'll show you guys it. Light emanating from her hands. We see incense burning, snake spirit rests nearby, and that's weird because snake always comes up in my meditations recently too. And various ethereal beings appear in the wispy shroud of light around her head. Oh, that's crazy. So she has she's connecting to divine through her crown chakra. See that? All the while, the tapestry upon which she sits appears to be on fire, symbolizing the fiery passion brought on by the intense focus of spirit that has been invoked for this ceremony. Calling spirit forth in this way felicitates a direct and heartfelt sense of relatedness to Source. Whether through indifference, depression, life crisis, or any other manifestation of mental, emotional, or physical blockages, you have drifted from the intimacy with spirit for which you yearn. I disagree with this, but that's okay. It is important to do what you can to regain an experience of spiritual power and is contained within you and all around you. Do so by conducting a ceremony, one that involves not only spirit, but also material objects you consider sacred. Set up an altar in a convenient area that is apart from your usual living space. Start with representations of the 4 major elements: earth, air, water, fire, and then add just a few sacred objects. Set your intention for the ceremony, such as whether the purpose is for healing, celebration, or honoring a particular earth season or cycle. Then do an invocation to call upon your spirit guides. Breathe their presence and ask the divine beings to guide you through the process. Trust their guidance, feel your heartbeat, and keep breathing. Breath is the key to the actual experience of spirit, and creating a ceremony is the vehicle that supports this. Okay, as I'm reading this, I'm feeling my crown chakra like pulsing, which is weird because I've never felt that before. Also, so the past 2 days, or since Friday, I've set the intentions to connect with spirit in the morning. But it's interesting how this brings up to bring material items too, which I haven't done. So now I'm thinking maybe just to add that to it and see where else. But I've been really feel like I've been connecting strongly with spirit recently, and it's allowing me to channel better, like tonight. So I guess this is just validation to keep doing that. This is a really cool picture though. Because I literally feel like when I'm doing that and I'm laying there, that it's coming through my head and like I see the beings around me. It's nuts. Like I connected to, I called in Lemuria. So Lemuria was supposed to be a time of like high vibration, like very high vibrational beings, I guess I could put it as. And I feel really drawn to it. And I feel like that was part of my like past life. And if you look at it in a multi-dimensional aspect, it's just another part of me that has lived that experience, not linearly, but like through dimensions. And if I want to connect with that, I can, if that makes sense. So I set those intentions, and I found out I was doing research on Lemuria like right before that. And it turns out that Lemuria was in Hawaii. Like Hawaii was where it is, which is so interesting because that's like the number one place that I am so drawn to. My husband's from there. Like, so I just thought that was a very synchronistic thing that happened. So I'm going to continue to do this, and I feel like as I connect with that, I'm going to have a lot more to share here with the channeling that comes through to me. And I can't wait. Okay. All right, Chelsea. Shape shifting. I love this card for you right now. This is about shape shifting your energy. Okay. So you know how you said you've been feeling unmotivated and down. So you can shape shift your energy into where you want to go. So, and once you learn how to do this, you'll get much better at it. Okay, clouds. When tiny droplets of water or frozen crystals are surrounded by billions of other droplets or crystals, a cloud is formed. Each of these tiny droplets diffuse and scatter light so that the tops of the clouds are white and fade to gray toward the base. The nature of cloud formations affects our mood as well as the temperature on the ground and in the air. Their shape, movement, and coloration tell us what weather to expect in the near future, and they nourish our visual hunger during breathtaking sunrises and sunsets. Most of us have had an opportunity at one time or another to notice the shapes and forms of the clouds take as they drift gently across the sky, constantly shifting and changing, adjusting themselves to the requirements of their nature. When we take time to simply observe, we can see the cloud people, images that are an elegant collaboration between nature and our imagination. In both subtle and more dramatic ways, you can shape shift by your choice of clothing, hairstyle, adornments, and even mannerisms, such as facial expression, gestures, and the way you walk. By adjusting these along with your internal attitude, you can actually display different personas. When you experiment with these variations of self-expression that are not how you ordinarily present yourself, others will react to you, depending on the degree in which your persona contrasts with the one they are most familiar with. Be like the clouds as you try out different forms, stretching your limits at times, willing to move and adjust as necessary. Lift your head up, square your shoulders, and stand tall, such that as your chest and heart open to the world, and note how this feels. You may feel vulnerable at first, but stay with it. Then let your shoulders fall forward slightly. Pull your chest inward an inch or two and let your head drop a little. Observe how this feels. Experimenting with contracting your aura, your energy field, then expand it as far as you comfortably can. By this kind of shape shifting, you can consciously choose your expression into the world. Just remember who you are at the core. That's cool. I can hear you, but I can't hear you.
Yeah, I like that. I'm still processing it, but it's cool.
Yeah. So I guess like just being mindful of how you stand throughout the day, like shifting your posture. I don't know. And just being mindful how you present yourself too, just in general. And then see how you can shift that. Because that does make sense that our internal attitude will be also affected by the way that we're presenting ourselves out into the world. Because, and in yoga, we know yoga, how we have to open our hearts up, right? So there's certain positions to do that. So I feel like throughout the day when we're doing that, we're opening our aura out to the world, or like certain things. So that's a great thing to be mindful of. That's a cool card. I don't think I've ever pulled that one. So that's fun. Do you have anything else to say to that? Or you're just processing it?
I was just imagining myself like skipping so I would feel happier.
Oh, that's awesome. That's actually, and that's such a vulnerable way to do it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, especially if you don't have a kid. Like, I couldn't even imagine, like, just skipping by myself. Probably would feel so good, honestly. But, like,
Yeah.
we're so judgmental of ourselves. Dude, that we'd probably be like, okay, these people are going to look at me. I need to do it in a field by myself. Just kidding. That would be awesome. If you skip, you totally have to let us know. That
Okay.
would be really cool. I would be so proud of you if you did that. All right, Camden, your turn. Oh, veiled. You got fog. So let's see. Okay. Fog is simply a low cloud, a blanket of water crystals that hasn't gained the density of raindrops. The thicker it is, the more it intrudes us in its damp, billowy arms. It can be so thick that it makes it nearly impossible to see directly in front of us. During those times, silence makes its own sound as we pause and allow ourselves to be enveloped in this shroud of impenetrable density. We may even feel as if we can do nothing but be still and await what is to be revealed. Yet, even within the thickest fog, we can be assured that it will eventually burn off as the sun's rays infiltrate the veil. Once they do so, we can anticipate how the light and warmth will bring us welcome relief from the cloud. As the sun continues to disperse the fog, our surroundings become illuminated, and we have the opportunity to continue onward. You are enmeshed in confusion and uncertainty and are unsure if it will ever clear up. This is not the best time to make decisions, particularly any major ones. Know that this foggy veil will eventually dissolve. Although there may be ways you unconsciously are contributing to this state, the greater truth is that this is simply a cycle you are moving through. And like all things, this too shall pass. Allow yourself to feel confused. In fact, decide to be confused, no matter what attempts you make right now to make things happen or move in any specific direction out of impatience or frustration. You risk only creating more confusion and uncertainty. So be still and patient. Wait for that first glimmer of awareness to lift the veil so that you can see the choices before you more clearly and then can choose to align yourself with the will of spirit. The way I see this is just like letting things come to you and not trying to see too far ahead.
So weirdly, I really connected with that one.
Oh, you did?
For a different reason though. So for the past, I don't know, month or so, I've been seeing a therapist about my irrational thought patterns that I've kind of developed after I lost my dad when I was 18. And she kind of made me realize that that's why I've kind of developed these irrational thought patterns around me being scared that people are going to leave me. And so like I dwell on things, like I get like really impatient. I get really, and like that when you said something like unconsciously, like I'm unconsciously contributing to it a little bit. And that's like what it made me think of. But like I've been getting really mad lately over little things, or like really impatient or really upset, and it's like bothering me and like bringing me down when I know it's kind of irrational sometimes. And so that's kind of how I connected to it, but just like reminding me to, when those things come up, let it happen, but also like be aware that I shouldn't make any harsh decisions right then, because that's contributed to a lot of, like, when me and Alex fight or something, it's because I make a decision to want to fight with him because of something irrational, like, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I've started to like become more aware that when things like that come up, it is because of, you know, something that happened in my past, and it's made me become more aware that, like, it's gonna pass, and it's just like you said, it's just like a fog right now, or it's just a fog like in the moment, but just kind of like chill and like wait for the sun, or like wait for it to pass before any making like big decisions, because a lot of times I've realized that if I just wait for if I like wait like maybe like 30 minutes to an hour, even a day, I let it go.
Yeah.
Whatever I'm upset about, I let it go and realize that it wasn't that important. And so that's been really helping me. But yeah, that's what I thought about when you were reading it.
That's so true, because, and I, one thing I always tell myself, like, if I'm pissed off, or like, because sometimes, I go, like, for example, if I get mad at Thomas or something, I'll be like thinking in my head, like, I don't want to do this anymore, blah, 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 whatever. My mind goes off too. And I always tell myself, though, no decisions and emotions. It's not going to do anything for me. I need to get myself aligned first before making any decisions. So if you can think of it as bringing yourself back into balance before taking action of anything, you'll just automatically start to be aware that you're just in an emotional state, and then
Right.
you'll observe those emotions as they are and how it's coming up for you. And confusion is okay. I feel like confusion is just like a state where we feel like we need to be figuring it out too sometimes. And
yeah, I think that's what's like been bothering me. It's like when it comes up, it's like the therapist was one of the people that kind of was like made me realize that like losing my dad made me have like these thought patterns, and with my boyfriend specifically, which is crazy. And so like that kind of made me become more aware, and like when I do get like emotional or hormonal or something like that, it made me think like this isn't rational. Like the you do have irrational thought patterns sometimes, and like this is not rational. You're just emotional or hormonal. And that has helped a lot.
Yeah, that's good that you're, and then, and like you said, like you've been recently getting mad. Like, also think of it as, like I was saying to Kate, like, or was I saying it? No, I was saying it to Chelsea. Like, now is a time for releasing. So when you notice your patterns of when it comes up too, that's very helpful, because that'll help you kind of just like balance yourself out when it does. So we know it's irrational, and then the timing of like just like what it's connecting with in that moment can help you too in some ways. So
Yeah.
but I think that's perfect. That's awesome that you actually have shifted your mindset around that for the past
Yeah.
because that's going to take, that's an evolution in itself right there. So yeah, because I basically do very similar. Like whenever we're in emotions, like I know that's not the time to do anything, but just allow those emotions to come up. Like that.
Right.
And
I'm just the kind of person that it's like if I'm in my emotions and I'm like I just keep going back to Alex, but like if I'm like around Alex and I'm in my emotions, you can read all over my face. That's one thing I can't hide. And so then he starts prying, like, what's wrong? Why are you mad at me? Like, and then it's like it almost like forces me to bring it up. And so we've had a lot of conversation about that. I was like, I understand you want me to bring things up like as soon as you notice them, and like I get it, like you can read it all over my face, but at the same time, like I need time to process what I'm thinking about. And I was like, you have to respect my process.
Because otherwise it's going to cause an unnecessary fight between you two.
Right. I was like, sometimes like when I'm having like these irrational thought patterns, it could be not important at all. I was like, I don't know why I'm having them. Sometimes I think it's really rational, and then in an hour I'm like, why the heck was I even mad about that? I was like, it's just the way that I think. And he doesn't understand that. He was like, well, you were mad about it at one point. I was like, yeah, but it didn't mean that like I cared about it. It was just how I felt in the moment.
Yeah, it was your trigger. So we're getting triggered by things to help us.
Yeah.
That's what's happening. And it has nothing to do with him. He's just a mirror reflection of you. Like, let's say, even if it was something he did that you got mad about, he is there for your healing. That's what his role is in your life. He's your significant other, but like you're one, but separate from you. So you're able to use, I don't want to say use him, but like he is like a God form for you. The universe brought you him so you can heal through him too. But perfect, because you're not trying to personalize it at him that it's his fault for bringing it up and like be in that moment of like, you're doing this, blah, 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 whatever it is, you know what I'm saying? And then really, you know, you're able to like step back and process it. And like, this is like what all of this is about, observing your feelings, understanding that nothing's personal to you, it's just what you're experiencing right now, like, and not taking and running away with it. He'll get it as you continue to like learn how to communicate it with him better as you're going through this, and when he's able to accept it better, then it'll just be a heightened communication and effective communication between you two. That's what you're doing.
Right.
So
yeah.
But that's awesome. That's so awesome, because like this is like what I was going through in my relationship, and then I finally got out of that pattern too. That's a pattern too between you two. And I finally got out of that, and like now I am able to communicate it better where there's no triggering on both sides. So it helps a lot. But, yeah, that's awesome. Good card. And I'm so happy to hear that.
Okay, well, I'm gonna.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm about to hop off. I've got we have a conference that I'm hosting starting tomorrow, and I have to be there at 8:00. So I'm gonna hop off there.
Love you. I'll talk
Bye.
to you again. All right, good night. Britt, are you on? Are you asleep or?
I'm on.
Okay. Is Marie there too, or just you?
No, just me.
You still sound sick. Are you still sick?
Yep. I'm better though. I just definitely like a sinus infection, but it's like worse at night and in the morning.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I actually went through that for a little while, and it finally went away. And it's interesting because I noticed that when my cold went away, it was like my cough was like moving energy within me.
Mhm.
And now I feel like I am connecting with my expression better. Like it cleared stuff out for me to express myself better than I was.
Yeah, hopefully it does it for me too.
I hope so. I'm sure it will. Usually there's a purpose to why you're feeling that. Either whether it's slowed down or I don't know, but you have slowed down since then, right? Because you took off.
Yep. Mhm.
Okay, so you got desert. This is a really powerful card though, so I don't know my alphabet.
Which deck are you using, by the way?
Earth Magic.
Mhm.
Okay, so you got Vision Quest. Okay, so it says, in this arid climate zone that we call desert, images shift and change throughout the day, yet always maintain a sharp and defined presence. Those hardy species of flora and fauna that have found a home in the desert have adapted over eons to the relative harshness that strong characteristics of these lands. Throughout history, we've passed down many stories of people wandering the desert. Often they're about religious figures and ascended masters who had journeyed there and returned to their people with remarkable visions. The desert is an ideal place to seek a vision, or more accurately, to allow a vision to come to you. The quiet and peace of such an environment is conducive to the solitude required to have this type of profound experience. Spending time in this region without the usual accoutrements, I think that distractions of the civilized world, can present survival challenges, or at least seem to. And this could rightfully be called a spirit quest, where throughout steadiness in the seemingly bleak environment, it becomes possible to receive direct guidance from spirit internally and in the world around you. Maybe we should do a desert vision quest together.
Yes.
get dropped off in the middle of the desert and be like, okay.
Mhm.
Okay. So anyway, it says a vision quest is a process whereby you spend a few days in the wilderness alone. Typically, you carry only water and some sacred items with you, and you spend most of the time praying or meditating. Many who have completed a vision quest assert that it is a powerful and even life-changing experience and report vivid and profound revelation. It is said that the desert does not lie, so partaking in this can help you discover the truth about your purpose or at least give you some clues. It is time for you to go on a vision quest. Designate a place in nature in which to dwell, whether for a couple of hours or a few days. Spend the majority of your time while they are praying and meditating. It is best to be in a location where you can truly find solitude, even if it is in a quiet corner of a park for an afternoon. Wherever you go, take your question, concern, or challenge with you into prayer or meditation. Allow it to float around in your consciousness and watch what shows up. This is one of the more powerful cards. By drawing it, whatever other messages you've received are amplified threefold. Cool.
So good. I feel like I need that. I'm like all over the place. I need to take some time to like center myself and figure out
Yeah.
my mission in life, what to do next. I'm doing so many things at once. It's like I don't know like where to put my effort, you know.
Yeah. Well, even this morning, you're like bulletproofing me.
I'm like, I need help. These are my 10 issues I'm feeling at the moment.
Yeah. I would just relax. I would just literally say, okay, these are my issues. Here you go. Surrender.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna worry about it right now. And just allow it. Almost like definitely give yourself that break from all of it to allow yourself just to like be in that moment,
Mhm.
and just get and try stuff. And I would say the best thing is not try to figure it out so much. Like, don't try to like figure it out.
I think my problem is because I like read and listen to these motivational podcasts or books, whatever, and they're always like, okay, what's your goal? What's your timeline? Like, you know, strategically, like, if your goal is whatever, let's just say like make $1 million, like, you know, so it's like, how are you gonna get there? What are you gonna do every single day to get there? Like, you know, and it's just like, if you don't do that every single day, and then it's like you're failing, and then it's like, okay, now you have anxiety, and like, I don't, you know what I mean?
So we need to seek alignment, not hustle anymore.
Not what?
Hustle. So that's like hustling because that's
Yeah.
no, we don't connect with that anymore. So those books are good, but you have to find your own balance first.
I think that's my issue because it's like,
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, just let it go, you know, and then the next day, just like obviously working in New York City and like being in corporate area, working in finance industry is just like go, 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 go. Like, you know what I mean?
You're in a very intense energy up there. Like,
Oh,
very
for
intense.
sure.
So to add on the motivational books, you don't really need that because you're already connecting with that energy, that intensity of go, go, go. Now, yes, I would say it's probably good to integrate some of those techniques, but I would really, like this card is saying, try to now just focus on your alignment because once you find your alignment, the clarity comes through to you. And then you even need, that's why, I mean, for me, like, I don't like to really follow the way of the, like, society and the way that, the way they do business, because I feel like to be successful, if you connect with yourself more, you'll actually be more successful in the long run because you're not going to burn yourself out.
Right. Yeah, like I've been working 12-hour days. Tomorrow I have to be there at 7, like, and then I work until 7 p.m. now. It's like a lot.
And then you're putting the pressure on yourself to do the other. So that's where you relax into it. No more pressure. Just allow yourself to be like, okay, this is going to come to me as it's ready, and I'm going to know what to do. I trust myself enough to know what to do as it comes to me. But right now, I need to take a freaking rest and just shut my mind off for a little while. I think that's really, because, like, yes, meditation, showing up for meditation is awesome, but then you go back to your regular routine.
Right.
So really shutting it off as long as it feels necessary, honestly. Like, you're not going to lose yourself. You're never going to get behind, ever.
Yeah.
So don't give in to that anxious feeling. Remember, live now, not in the future. If you need that now, do that now. Because that's going to help you actually boost further. Because when you're aligned, then it actually kind of jump starts you after your alignment.
Right. And I've been like meditating every day and like just obviously doing the Reiki class and like all that stuff. But yeah, then I always go by the end of the day, I'm like, I have to re-meditate again and do everything again because it's just like a lot of energy and a lot of things, and it's my whole work environment too. It's the people there are like so different than me. Like no one's spiritual. They're all serious, like Republicans, which is fine, but we just have a lot of different views in life.
That's interesting. But actually, that is also interesting because we're here to experience diversity, so that's okay. So see where you can thrive in that environment by being diverse, is how I want to put it. Like, be your.
Well, it's not just that too. It's like they don't know when to stop. Like they would rather not have any work-life balance. Like I said, I'm working 12 hours, and they're like, well, we have a lot of jobs. You could like still, but they say it in like a way where it's not like mandatory, but where it's like, all right, you like could be, watching TV at home and still working, or like, just doing some other things on the weekends, like, and I'm like, no.
I would say, this is what I would say: do what's best for you. Don't feel the pressure from them, or they're judging you if you're not. Do what is best for you, and then if it doesn't work out because of that, then that just means that you're ready for the next thing.
Yeah.
Don't give in to people pleasing them because they're doing that and you feel like you're wrong for wanting to do the other thing. No, if that's not right for you, do it. That's actually it might even show them work-life balance that they need to have. If they want to, they can. If they don't, they don't. But they should. But you should never feel obligated.
Yeah, like every day, they wake up at like 4:00 in the morning, and it's like they get to work by 6:30, and it's just like, this is fucking a lot.
It's not for you. Maybe even have the conversation with them that, look, like, I see you guys always, if it would make you feel more comfortable. That's the only reason I would say it. But like, just be like, I can't do this for myself. I don't thrive this way. So I just want to make sure.
I just don't understand how they're not tired or burnt out, like, unless they're doing drugs. I really don't know.
Maybe they're doing coke.
I don't know.
Their freaking fix. I don't know either, but
I don't understand. But yeah, so that's it. I know someone else is on, so I'll let you pull their card, Jess's card.
yes.
But all right, I'm gonna go to sleep. Good night.
I'll talk to you tomorrow. Good night. Hi, Jess. You still there? You're in the dark. Are you asleep? Yeah, there you are.
Hey.
Okay. And then I want to talk to you too. Okay, so you got harmony, music. Being in harmony with yourself. That's how I see it. Okay, so it says, music. What life would be without it? It's not something that we humans invented. Rather, music has been around since time began. Subtle and dramatic textures of sound have existed as long as there have been beings that could hear them. For our ancient ancestors, paying close attention to sounds, rhythms, and vibrations from the environment helped them survive. Of course, it has also been compelling for humanity to create music through our own voice and musical instruments. As we have evolved, so have the instruments we've created, some of which played mimic the music of the natural world. Where there's more than one instrument played or two or more people singing, the resulting harmonies blend into one unified sound that is pleasing to the ear. If the notes are out of sync, there's a notable dissonance that can be disturbing. Here we see two women with stringed instruments creating a harmonious blend. They're so absorbed in their playing that they appear to be in a trance, as if they're simply allowing the music to flow through them. This is a time of considerable harmony for you, one where the various elements in your life are flowing together smoothly, just as musical harmony It is the interface of these elements that merge into a cycle of symmetry and balance that evokes feelings of harmony. The challenge is to sustain this inner accord even when there's considerable dissonance outside of your own mind, heart, and body. Note the sensations, emotions, and thought to experience when everything seems to be moving along well. Take 3 deep breaths and let your breathing be the anchor that reminds you of this state of consciousness. Whenever you perceive chaos around you, know that it is a result of your inner turmoil. When you recognize this, take 3 more breaths to bring forth the memory of those moments when your life was like a symphony. Then, every time you exhale, you are releasing the energy of your internal state of harmony into the world, and it will have amazing effects. Have you been feeling good recently?
Oh, yeah. I was going to say something to you like I've been able to go work out and I've been getting some time to myself. And today's like my 4th or 5th day of having some type of mindfulness time. And
Awesome.
it's been wonderful.
That's good. Okay, so great. So you're able to actually bring yourself back into balance right now. Like you're able to actually focus on that. Cool.
Yes.
All right, so just me. I feel like really what I would do is like totally feel into how this feels. That's like what I would do. That's awesome. That's so good to hear.
Well, and I almost, so Kev's like 2.5 hours north and it's up by where my mom lives. And I was debating going up there from like Tuesday to Friday. And part of me was like, I'm on day 3 of doing good and I don't really want to break it. Like I was kind of feeling good. And I ended up telling him like, I just don't think it would have costed money. And then like I said, I was feeling good about having a good habit for 3 days. So, but I ended up making the right choice and I stuck here and I'm feeling good about the decision. I'm very glad. So
awesome. You listened to yourself and you didn't feel guilty to have So that's awesome. Oh, I'm so happy for you. Yeah. I feel like, when there's other energy around too, that kind of screws it up. Or like I was saying with traveling, like how Kim went away for whatever. And I went away 3 weeks ago and I'm still feeling a little like trying to get my balance back. It just took a little bit of time, but it's finally better. Plus I was exhausted after my trip, but so that's awesome that you stayed. So I wanted to bring up, okay, so I, for some reason, so you weren't on, I think, when I was talking about this part. Well, you came on towards I don't know, I don't remember, but I was talking about how, I was reading about so there's a vaccination bill going into place where did you see this? Where they're gonna make
you posted something, I think.
Okay, so there's a bill going through that they're trying to mandate it nationwide, so we can't have a religious exemption. That's what I was reading about. So, what did I want to bring up about it? I don't remember what I was going to say. But anyway, the thing that I shared with you and Kim was, so there's a march called Millions March, and it's like one big group. I don't know if you saw the video I tried to send, but then inside the group is like, it says like Connecticut Millions March. It'll say like North Dakota, and it's every single state. And it's the same exact day.
Awesome.
March, and then it's actually there's people in the UK, France, and Ireland that I saw are trying to do the same thing. Isn't that cool? How cool would that be if we actually did if we came enough together as a whole country doing it all in one spot? That would be amazing.
That would be.
So,
even for each state to do their thing at their own capital on the same day, like.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Now, the only thing that I feel like for me, I've never done anything like that. But also, I do know that there's people that are, they instigate and do whatever to like mess with you. So I feel like that would be my only concern about going. And I obviously wouldn't want to bring the kids. So, but I'm like so not one to do that. But I feel like I probably would for this one if it's like going that global.
Yeah, that'd be amazing. Like I said, like there's a small group, and I guess it's not small, a decent sized group here in Michigan, and they They're called Michigan for Vaccine Choice, and they're their own, I think they're a nonprofit. But they like fundraise and they do billboards on the side of the road. We had one here in Lansing that made me really happy. But they're very like non-violent and stuff like that. They're very for just sharing information. And but it is hard because it's hard when someone else gets up in your face and says like, well, you're killing your kids, and you're sitting there going, I'm really not. Like, I'm doing what's best for my kids, but people think that. So
crazy. That's like insane to me that people have that mindset.
Yeah.
Kids are fine. They're not even doing anything. They're just
Right.
like they're healthy. Like they're just so brainwashed. It's nuts to me. And like when I posted something and I got no response, and I'm like curious how people are actually.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. It's so hard because if people would just read a vaccine insert, like these people who say like you're killing your kids have never read a vaccine insert.
Yeah.
Well, how can they even say that?
I know.
And the same with like the vaccine inserts literally say like, some of them say don't give with other vaccines, or don't give when your child is sick, or don't like.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
Insane. But anyway, I was reading the TRS. Are you in that group? I don't think you are. I think Kim is though. But there was some women posting about their children doing the TRS detox spray, and literally it was like their kid shifted within a week and like went from low functioning autism to like completely engaged with other people. I couldn't even imagine what that looks like, and to be like, holy shit, like I'm living this right now, and the vaccines definitely did this. And like and then on top of it, trying to speak out your story, and then people are telling you you're wrong.
How
It's ridiculous.
Well, especially, I don't know. Again, like I'm saying, like people are telling that parent that it's wrong, but it's literally listed in the vaccine insert from the manufacturer that made the vaccine that this can happen. So I don't
And I want to say like it was really helpful for me to add groups, because then I didn't have to go out of my way to do all the research necessarily, or not know where to start. Instead, people were putting the information right there for me.
Oh yeah.
So that and experiences, that's what I thrive off of, is like hearing others' experiences, because having that actually is showing truth right there, and I actually listen to other people instead of like acting like I know it all.
Yeah.
Which is what everyone does out of fear.
Yeah, it was really hard for me in the beginning because I kind of grew up with a family that was like, well, I don't really know about them, and we kind of delayed. And then my mom wasn't very strong in her opinion. So once it got to the point where it was like inconvenience for her to not get us vaccinated, that's when we did. So like I always kind of grew up with the mindset of not being sure of them. And then just little by little, I did more and more research. And then we were getting ready to have Nicholas, and I was like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah.
But my husband was not. I mean, he never, like, it was never a question in his mind because he's always just been taught that that's just what you do. And
yeah.
I
Was
don't know.
that with you, or was he afraid more?
For what?
You're saying, so he was on board with vaccines, you're saying?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So then when you were doing all the research, was he open to listening, or?
So I think most people are. So he's the type of person you have to plant the seed. So I kind of had to be like, well, I'm not so sure about it. We're going to have to do more research. So little by little, we have eliminated vaccines. So I started sending him a lot about MMR because that's a big one. Like I've seen and read just so many terrible things.
And I'm telling you, I'm like preparing myself if something happens that he needs to get it.
Well, and I don't know. Yeah. The measles don't scare me. So
yeah, that's what I'm saying. That doesn't scare me either. It's the vaccine itself that scares me.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's crazy. But yeah, so little by little, he's just been like, well, yeah, that one doesn't make sense. Well, no, we don't really need that. So.
Oh, that's good. Okay. So you're open to like and breeding it. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
We haven't really got into, but I was not at that point as you. Like when I had my daughter, I pretty much just did the routine. And then when I still wasn't at that level yet. But then it was like, it was interesting. It was like our insurance got cut off. And it was like right when he was supposed to. would on it anymore. And then it was like, I was like, well, this is probably for a reason because that's how I live. And then I started just being more open to all of it. And I was like, the more I was like, no. But at the same time, I'm still preparing myself with detox. Like I just bought a detox solution or whatever from Earthly. They have one, and then they have a pamphlet on how to detox. And then like I know what I would do. And then if I need to get TRS, like I don't care how much money it is. Like if I needed to, and I was going through that, I would. So
I read, if I can find it again, I'll send it to you. And it's by one of the bigger doctors that are known for their Vax Choice. But they put out like if you get to that point, like beforehand, do high dose vitamin C as much as you can, like month before, month after. And I want to find that again and save it and make sure I have it because I mean
yeah, I know.
It's getting scary.
I think I bookmarked that actually this week. It was like 200 something. Well, I don't know what the dosage is called. Is it IUC or something like that? 200,000 something. I don't know what it stood for, but it was vitamin C.
Mm-hmm.
The amount they like per pound, like by pounds.
Yeah.
For the kid to take, and I was like, okay. So I thought I work at an herb shop right here that I could just.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like I'm being set up that way that like if it has to go down that path, I am prepared for it.
Right.
I mean, she's pretty vaccinated. But then I was watching a video today on a doctor that like pretty much was like working with vaccines and like doing his own statistics because he went to Africa and he was there to do, I forget, he was doing something else, but he was also working with vaccines. So he decided to just take the statistics on his own to just see what these vaccines were doing. And actually, the DTP was worse for girls and was actually causing a higher mortality rate in girls.
That's insane.
I know.
Well, have you watched Vaxxed?
I haven't watched Vax, no.
That's one of the big ones that like opened my eyes. I did have to pay for it. I think I just rented it, but totally worth it. Like they talk about the numbers and the amount of money that vaccine companies pay for research versus like advertising, and it's like 500 times more that they spend on advertising.
I don't doubt that at all. Not even a little bit. It's like they pay the doctors too, just to.
Yeah. I mean, you can't drive 5 miles down the street without seeing something about vaccines. It's awful.
I know.
Yeah.
They're just driving it more into us. And it's interesting though, because I was like thinking today, like how much about control it is. Like they tried to control us with guns. They tried to control in different other ways if you think about it, and they were like, okay, well now the government, I'm saying, and now they're going to control us with the vaccinations.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like people are brainwashed enough that it could pass through because people are more afraid to get sick than to educate themselves. It's retarded.
Yeah, I mean, sick from something that 50 years ago was a joke.
Yeah.
People had measles parties, like they had chickenpox parties when I was a kid, but now there's a vaccine for chickenpox too. So
I know, and they just instill fear into why you have to get it. It's so stupid.
I know I think it was New York. Was New York the one that had the big? I don't remember what religious group it was.
Yes, Orthodox Jews.
Yeah, but they were all getting together to have measles parties because they believe that it's better to have the sickness. But everyone was talking about, oh, it's spreading because they're unvaccinated. No, it's spreading because they want it.
I know. The way they freaking pass this information is so stupid.
Yes.
So stupid. But then they don't talk about, like, they don't put on media, like, or, like, like the big media, the mainstream. They don't talk about, like, that Navy ship that got it with all the vaccinated guys.
Yeah, required. Like, those people can't get out of a vaccine.
Yeah. Exactly. So obviously the vaccine's not working that well.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah. So we'll see what happens. But
I know I struggle big time. I've pretty much been avoiding that topic just because I get really anxious around it and struggle to sleep and everything else. So I'm just trying to deal with it and do the best I can. And I am trying to get more involved in the group that's local here and do what I can. And
Yeah. I mean, it's hard because I feel like it is, in a sense, the minority of the country around that, like but the problem is, it's targeting mostly it's targeting mostly moms.
oh yeah, well, moms typically make those decisions.
Yeah, but not only that, like we care enough and are awakened enough to know, like we have that intuition within us, and that's why it's like showing up like that too. To have to like feel like we need to question. Then there's those that don't trust themselves enough, so they just go to the doctor, and that's what I always find when I have a conversation with someone. It's more like, well, I just go to the doctor and just do the routine, whatever. So it's ridiculous.
I don't know. I saw a little boy today. So one of our neighbors, he is 6, 5, somewhere around there, and he is overweight, if not like borderline obese, which is like so sad. Like he's 5 or 6, and somehow, and I know it's just one of these things that happen. I was talking to him, and like I've had maybe 5 conversations with him, but he was talking to me about Nicholas and does he like his shots? I like my shots. I do really good when I get my shots. And I was just like, really, universe? This is what you're going to have this talk to me about? Like, me?
So it's really weird that came up for you. That's really weird. Like that would probably never, like no little boy would come. I mean, obviously that was the universe to like put that in because it's a trigger too. Remember, the universe is bringing us triggers to be able to breathe through it and like process that and like why there's a fear, because technically you kind of have a fear around it in a sense, and it's finding that balance of like knowing that the universe would not put that there if we're not safe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think there's a way we can balance it, that if we are controlled, I think like this is how I see it, is learning how to build our immunity up. So like vitamin C, for example, to be able to handle those kind of things and like be in that mode of like, I am protected, like no matter what you throw at me.
Right. And know who to go see as soon as possible if a crazy reaction occurs, because the quicker you get help, hopefully the quicker,
it's detox out of you. But that's the thing, like I don't know. Here's the only thing though with that, if you learn for yourself where you can manage it on your own, I think that might be better. But I mean, and knowing if to go to someone too, obviously. But I feel like there's going to be a lot of doctors that they're not going to tell you it's the vaccines.
They already know.
So, yeah. And I also don't think they're going to give you the actual right thing to help with that, because they're not looking at using like vitamins or
not a traditional doctor, no. Not
yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like that's why like I'm basically preparing my medicine cabinet in a sense, because if it gets down to that point, that's where I'm going. To be honest, I haven't been to the pediatrician. Obviously, well, I said our thing we don't have insurance, but I haven't been trying to do it. But like I haven't been there even for wellness checks because I just don't want to deal with it.
Yeah. The only reason I go, so it's kind of a fear-based decision, I guess, is because, so say someone decides they want to call CPS on you because they hear you're not vaccinating. If CPS comes into your home and they start looking at everything, it's just a way for you to cover yourself and say, hey, we're doing our wellness checks. We have a plan with our doctor. This has nothing to do with you. So it's just kind of a way to cover your own butt, because people do call CPS on people who don't vaccinate their kids. So it's just kind of a way to be like, no, like I obviously care for my kids. We go to the doctor. This is HIPAA between me and my child's doctor. So you can't really do anything about it. So that's why we've always made sure to keep going and to have a doctor and to do wellness checks, is that kind of just in case.
But that's true too. That's actually a really good point. Now for me, I think for me, I'm just trying to figure out what the hell to do because they pretty much have almost all their vaccinations up until that. So it's not even like I haven't done it. So for them to like, I would probably just be like, look, like it has nothing to do with that or whatever.
Well, and I mean, you could talk to Kim and switch doctors even and go to a doctor that you know is, I mean, her doctor, I don't think her doctor's great with it, but they're okay with it.
Okay.
I got kicked out of a practice with Nicholas. Well, okay, I didn't totally get kicked out. I was pretty much told that if the next time we came back we didn't vaccinate him, that we were never welcome again. So I never went back. Family doctors are much.
I don't understand why.
Oh, our doctors around here have started putting like signs up on their doors that specifically say if you choose to not vaccinate your children, you're not welcome in our office. Especially pediatricians, because they get such a big kickback for having a certain percentage of fully vaccinated patients, that they've quit allowing people who don't.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Those are the people you don't want to connect with anyway because they're just doing it for money.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like so the doctor I worked with was fine with it. I was just like, okay, we're delaying, we're not sure about it. And she said, okay, like we can talk about it next appointment. And I was like, okay, that's fine. Like we can talk about it every appointment, but this is my decision. And as long as she wasn't pressuring me, I didn't care. So, when the child reaches a year, you have to see like the nurse practitioner or something. And she was awful. She was so mean and so rude about it. Like she was great until that point. So then that happened. And she's the one like, well, your doctor is not allowed, like, because their office's thing is like, if you need to create a plan, and if you change it more than 3 times, we kick you out. So what the doctor was doing was just kind of saying, okay, we made a plan to do it next time. And then the next time she just said, well, we made a plan to do it next time. She was just kind of pushing it back. I'm not sure. She was new, so I'm not sure if she knew the office's thing and was just going to deal with it through the nurse practitioner, or if she was just kind of like, didn't really care and was just pushing it back.
Right.
So after I saw that nurse practitioner, my doctor called and was like, well, it really is time. You should get him in here. And she was kind about it. She wasn't like the nurse practitioner who like was awful. But
and
so
they have to create a plan? Like if she put down the plan is not to be vaccinated, would she be penalized for that?
I don't know.
Okay.
So, and I never straight up told her that we weren't, because I didn't want to get kicked out of the practice, especially because at that point Nicholas was still a preemie and still a fragile preemie. So like we had to have a doctor that could check him up regularly.
Well, it worked out though, at least.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's good.
Yep. So the doctor I have now, they were decent. I was referred to them though, so I kind of knew that they were. We kept Nicholas intact. We did not circumcise him. So I picked a doctor that was friendly with that, because there's certain things you have to do, and then their vax choice accepting. So they're not great with it, but they're also a learning doctor's office, so they have residents in as well. So the resident was the doctor that took all the information when I took Nicholas in, and they were just like, yeah, okay. Like she just breezed by it like it didn't matter.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
I would like to find a place that's like that. But we do have a group here that people do ask about it, and like, does anybody know if there's pediatricians that are open to vax?
Well, then not having insurance, so you might be able to find in Charlotte. There was a doctor I really wanted to see her. I liked her situation. I liked her story. But her daughter was vaccine injured. She's an MD. She did everything she could through all of her colleagues, and no one could help her daughter in any way. So she ended up finding this holistic doctor who helped her daughter a ton. And then she is now a holistic-based MD in the Charlotte area.
Cool.
So she has started her own practice, and she's one of them where you pay monthly, but you get so much more. Like you obviously pay out of pocket for it, but like you can call or text them anytime, and you get like 2 office visits a month and like all these other things.
Okay.
So that might be worth see. There were a couple of them like that in the Charlotte area that were more holistic minded, open to vaccine choice, and that you just paid out of pocket and they didn't even accept insurance. And they weren't crazy priced, depending on which one. She was a little more because, I mean, she is an actual MD, but we also had a nurse practitioner that did the same thing with much better prices. So that might be worth looking into, just so you have.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
That's actually a really good idea.
Because I was kind of wishing we weren't paying for insurance just so I could choose my own doctor and pay for them myself. It just sucks to pay for insurance and a doctor on top.
Yeah, and doesn't it actually make more sense? I mean, the only thing it just wouldn't cover is hospitalization, right?
Right.
So, and plus we don't have that right now anyway. I mean, we're on Medicaid, and then we got terminated from it.
Okay.
And then I just haven't figured anything out because I've been like, I don't want to go back to the doctor.
Well, and there's, I think it's called Liberty. There's some of those other private insurance companies too, and I've heard of those paying for, like the ones in Charlotte area. There were 2 of them in my crunchy group that the moms always talked about, and they worked for that MD. So like they paid for that private insurance, and that private insurance did cover this MD.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, because
regular big insurance doesn't cover them at all. So.
Right.
You have a lot more freedom in who you get to see, and like they cover chiropractic and they cover stuff like that.
So, okay.
I mean, depending on your plan and everything, but that might be worth looking into as well.
Okay.
And those will cover, again, depending on your plan, but those can cover things like a NICU stay for us, because I considered going that route, but I am prone to having preemies. That will probably be a regular thing for me. So I always have to keep that in mind. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, this is very helpful because I've been like literally just sitting here like, okay, I don't know what the hell to do.
Yeah. I mean, I looked up the private one and it wasn't, I mean, I don't know if you even paid anything for Medicaid, but it wasn't crazy compared to what we were already paying when I looked at it. Because it was something I could have convinced Kev if I really wanted to push for it. So.
Okay. Yeah, because Thomas, well, what we did was we were on his Lowe's insurance, but then it was like not paying for itself, basically. So then Thomas was like, well, let's see if we could at least get Medicaid. And if we get Medicaid, then at least we could save money that way. Because Medicaid pretty much covers everything. And I'm not working full time. So, so then we got it. And then for some reason we got terminated, which really doesn't make sense because his pay didn't really change.
Mm-hmm.
But I just haven't gone back and looked into it because I don't know what I want to do. So I might check this route because he said that he wants to try to figure out insurance, with Lowe's or something if we need to again. So if this is an option and actually makes more sense, I would like to do it this way. Hopefully.
Especially, I don't know, because for me, I am more crunchy minded. So why am I paying for insurance for me to go see a doctor once a month when it's not a doctor? I don't even want to see this doctor. It's just the only one I can see.
Right. That's exactly how I feel.
Me for out of pocket, be able to choose my doctor, my dentist, because there's holistic dentists.
I know.
And I'd much rather see all of those people that have a like mind.
Right, I agree. Because then otherwise I'm going to the dentist. I'm just like, what are you using? What is that for? What is it doing to me? Like,
yeah. Please don't x-ray me, mercury me, or fluoride me. And that's 90% of what they do. So, yeah.
Oh my God. Now that I'm thinking about it, oh my God. I haven't been back to the dentist either, but I'm just like thinking like, yeah, that's probably the way to go. All right. Do you think you can send me that doctor's name? And then, so then I can even see, you looked over here too and there wasn't anything, or you just looked in Charlotte because you were over there?
Yeah, I was just looking in Charlotte. Well, I found her. There was like a super crunchy group in Charlotte, and I got added by a friend, and she was in there, and they all recommended her. So I started looking into her and found out her story, and that's how I found her. But I mean, you can even email her, and she may have contacts in the Raleigh area.
True.
Oh, well,
Carrie is pretty like crunchy over there.
Yeah. Carrie is really cool. I liked Carrie.
Yeah, we did. Yeah. Yeah, so you can find a lot of that stuff over there, including like spiritual groups and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So I just totally forgot that Jade's sleeping right here. I almost walked inside and probably left her outside.
Oh.
Might freak out if she's by herself outside sleeping. But
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna go because it's late.
Yes, it is very late. I was falling asleep before you drew my card, so.
Oh, sorry. I woke you back up.
That's okay.
I'll talk to you soon.
All right, bye.